think it's okay. Oh, shit. Oh my god. Looking fucking chesty over here. Anyways, building games are the shit. The three best-selling games of all time are Minecraft, where you build blocky things, Tetris, where you break down the blocky things that you've built, and GTA 5, where you build up a disturbingly efficient work ethic and a profound disdain for strangers. There are a lot of reasons that you could give as to why these three games lead in all-time sales. It could either be the degree of freedom that the games offer you, or learning how to work with the parts that are given to you. Since Minecraft leads in all-time sales, let's focus in on it. It's easy to see the appeal in being able to bend and shape the world around you as you see fit. The creative potential is absolutely bonkers, but there's still the feeling that you're making the world your own, but not making your own world. There's only one game that I know of that beats out every other Sandbox game out there. Only one game that can be used in a seemingly endless amount of ways. Only one game that's ever asked,
how will you create the universe?
But oh god, oh Jesus, should that question have even been asked? This is Spore. In my opinion, the greatest Sandbox game to have ever hit the market. This procedurally generated galactic playpen had its issues with overpromising before release, which led to people being pretty disappointed. Oh, wait, shit, wrong page. Sorry. Here we go. It's dated and it has its issues, but for those who give it the time it needs, dude, it can't be beat. Let me get one thing settled right off the bat here though. The base game sucks ass. I've clocked over 5,000 hours into this game, and exactly 3 of them were spent having fun playing from cell to space. I'll break it down real quick to explain why. You start off playing a mobile game from 2010. There are a handful of parts that you can collect in this stage to upgrade your blob. One of them is useful. When you make it to land, you meet other species. You only bother with the alphas because they're the only ones who give you new parts. You must collect every single part before continuing. This is not optional. The tribal stage is the first 2 minutes of a round of Age of Empires, stretched to be about 20 minutes long. When you reach civilization, shit gets real. Remember how you were supposed to be designing your own alien species? How'd you like to suddenly be tasked to determine what their architecture and vehicle design is going to look like? Do you want some cool, unique buildings for the species you've been cultivating? How'd you like to have to build 4 of them back to back to back, along with 2 unique vehicles, all of which you'll need within the first few minutes of this stage? Does that sound like it takes a long ass time? Well, it doesn't. It takes a really long ass time. You can make the buildings and vehicles beforehand and have them ready to swap in once you're ready, but only if you're a 500 IQ elite gaming speedrunner. Once you get through that shit, you're in space. Forever. Like, actually forever. You could mess around with setting up your empire the way Maxis intended, but what you actually do here is hit Control-Shift-C and spam more money, no spaces, no caps, anywhere between 5 and 600 times. There are lots of upgrades that you can unlock, but you're interested in exactly 5. A wormhole drive, a shield, a beefy auto turret, and every repair and energy pack that you can get your graspers on. You then maneuver to the inner rim of the galaxy, ignoring any and all cries for help from your colony, pop your shield and your packs, and Tony Hawk Pro Skater front slide board slide across all of this garbage until you get to the center. I would tell you what happens next, but it is literally not worth the oxygen. That's how the game— oh, hi. It's like 2 days later. Making videos is fucking hard. But that's how Spore feels your first couple playthroughs. Kinda underwhelming, nothing to write home about. But the base game from cell to space is just— it's a small portion of what Spore is really, as cheesy as it sounds, is what it's all about. Whenever I see big YouTubers play Spore, they don't play it to get to the center of the galaxy. They play it to make a goofy looking creature, and more often than not, they come up with a story to go along with it. Even if you want to play as a giant wobbly dick, the point of the game isn't nurturing your tiny penis to the point that it can travel the stars. The strength of Spore comes from building a culture for your cock, and a philosophy for your phallus. It's about putting the same part that everyone else has used on your creature, but making it unique. It's about taking the space stage philosophy archetypes and using them to explain why your species is unique and different. Spore isn't about creating interstellar civilizations, it's about making something that's truly your own. And the best part is, there's an awesome community who all love to do the same thing. It's a smaller bunch of us these days, but in some ways that's a plus. When Spore was at its peak though, it was really something special. There were massively influential players who shattered what people thought was possible to pull off in the game. The one player that I will always hype up as the GOAT though is Photosynthesis. His designs were impeccable and he pushed the boundaries harder than anyone else ever had. He's the reason why you can be playing the creature stage and all of a sudden run into Master Chief driving a warthog or fucking Wally. My personal favorite though is Parkaboy. He didn't push the boundaries as hard as Photosynthesis, but he took Spore's goofy, cartoony style and ran like hell with it. He also taught a lot of people how to use the outfitters and had a real knack for making vehicles and buildings really fit with their creatures. There are so many older players that left lasting impacts on the community through their creations. And while showing people how to use the editors is cool, there was one addition to Spore that to this day stands as the best DLC I have ever seen brought to a Sandbox game. I mentioned earlier that Spore had issues with overpromising before release, and if you want more info on that, there are a ton of YouTube videos that you could go through and... Ooh. Anyways, even though EA screwed Spore over, I think Maxis gave their all to the game and really understood their community. So when they looked and saw that we weren't busy playing the base game as much as we were creating stories and fun ideas, they came up with a perfect idea for an expansion pack. It was Spore, Galactic Adventures. Now, for a moment, think about other Sandbox building games that you may have had experience with. Maybe Roller Coaster Tycoon or Planet Coaster for a more recent one. The expansions offer some new things and new pieces, but it's still the same game. Or look at the Sims packs. You drop your life savings on a handful of them and yeah, your Sims get to go to college and see snow, but again, it's still the same game. Galactic Adventures isn't like that. Galactic Adventures is an entirely new way to play Spore and to experience what other people have built. It is crazy. The only other game that comes close to offering what this expansion pack offers is Minecraft, but only if you use third-party programs like World Painter and have a degree in computer science for command blocks. Let me break it down for you. With Galactic Adventures, you can sculpt a planet from scratch. You then fill it with your own creations or your favorites from your friends. You then come up with an objective for a player to complete while they're in your world. The most common way to set one up is kind of like a short story. The adventure is split up into acts, with a maximum of 3 objectives per act. You can have players settle disputes between 2 factions, solve mysteries, rescue hostages, and anything else you can think of. Some creators go the extra mile, and since you're bound to hit the complexity limit at some point, they'll make a whole series of adventures with a lengthier story. But it doesn't all have to be story-based. Photosynthesis made Mario Kart and The Simpsons, Parkaboy came up with some fun minigames, and his Xenoplanet series, where you get to explore the homeworlds of some of his creatures. It's so sick. They even got the writers for Robot Chicken to make a few, which are really fun. It still blows my mind how well done some of these adventures are. Take Whom Gods Destroy by Ryujin, for example. You pick up a signal for a valuable artifact on the planet and beam down. The inhabitants aren't too pleased to see you, but there's something sinister taking place, and they could use your help with it. The artifact that you picked up on your scanners is corrupting the neural implants in their heads, and they need someone without an implant to go and get rid of it. And so you make your way across the compound, forging a path to the entrance of their cave excavation. You find a small research post with mining ordnance, supplies, and a carved crystal shard. There's an entry about the shard on a datapad, telling you that it seems to fit into a slot in the artifact, but nobody's dared to touch it yet. It's probably best to leave it alone, so you work your way deeper into the labyrinth of a cave. Eventually, You find the artifact. Sinister voices emanate from it, and they grow louder as you examine a large warhead that's been put in place as a precaution in case they needed to destroy the artifact immediately. All of a sudden, a mass of tentacles erupts from the crystals and works its way all throughout the cave. Something's awakened in the artifact and you have to destroy it now before anything else escapes. One of the guards appears behind you though, and says that he won't let you just blow apart their valuable findings so that you can collect your paycheck and leave. He doesn't understand the danger that this thing poses, so you push past him and hurry to find the explosive primer. The cave is filling with monsters and the voices are growing louder. You finally find the primer, but wait, wasn't this where that crystal was? It doesn't matter, there's no time. You run back to the artifact with the primer and the guard attacks you, probably driven mad like the others. You put him down and plug the primer in and wait, no. It wasn't the primer, there wasn't even a warhead. You just plugged the crystal back into the artifact. The monster within is finally unleashed and you're powerless to stop it. You run as fast as you can, desperate to get back to the main base. Monsters and tentacles are everywhere as the corruption erupts outwards and envelops the base. You blast your way through the eldritch horrors and get back inside the base, but it's too late. They've all gone insane and attack you on sight. You can't help them and you have to save yourself, so you blast them and cut them to pieces, and then your vision clears. There are no monsters, no tentacles, it was all a nightmare. A vision from the artifact. You didn't kill the guard in the cave, you killed him as he was trying to warn the others. Then you forced your way inside and murdered them too. With the artifact awakened and everyone dead, you're the only one who knows what happened here. And so you fly away, hoping to leave the evil behind you and praying that nobody else ever finds out what you've done. How sick is that? It's all made by one person who made every creature, every prop, every building, and wrote every piece of dialogue. And it's easily accessible by anybody who has the game, and it's been enjoyed by tens of thousands of players. It's fucking crazy. It's so cool. However, there is the opposite end of the adventure spectrum, and for every really great adventure like that, you've got about 20 plus absolute stinkers. I'm going to take the L and use one of my own old adventures as an example here, but cut me some slack, because I was like 15, so keep it in mind. We beam down into the cockpit to make contact with Nox's space station. Dude, is that you? Gotta say dude so that they know I'm cool. Yeah, Nox, it's me. Alright, cool. What took you so long? Someone stole my ship. I had to use Homer dudes to get here. Ahahaha. Dude, that anal. You're still a couple miles out. Switch on your thrusters and get over here. Exit the airlock and log into the computer terminal. Are you on board now? Yeah, how do I get to the cockpit? Just take a left and keep going straight down the hall. I'll send directions to your mission log. Thanks, Nox. I'll be there soon. Better hurry, the boss just made a holo call. So you're the new recruit we got, eh? Yes, I'm a little small, but did you ever consider that might be because I'm a hologram? Yes, I know, this projector's a dinosaur, but we live with it. The reason we have the nano-org is because we're a nano-terrorist gang. The nano-factor. I don't fucking know. Speak with Nox, I've already briefed him. Hey, glad to finally see you. Our mission is to scout the galaxy for more nano-orgs. We can combine them later for our secret weapon. Boss says we're going to need backup for our mission, so he's sending some chick from the Quantas sector. Yeah, I know, everyone from Quantas is hardcore, but they're ugly too. Dang, I'm getting a strong energy reading. Looks like she's here. So you're the captain I've been assigned to? Pathetic. Hey, don't cry or I'll blast your head off. God. I wasn't crying, I had something in my eye. I don't care. I'm here to assist the Nanofactor and that's it. Our first planet to search is Iriado. Nox has already primed our ships. Wait, who put you in command? Nobody, but seeing as to how you're not fit to be in command and Nox is too headstrong, it's blatantly obvious I'm the best choice. And that's it. That's it. That's the whole thing. That's the whole adventure. Oh my fucking god. Even though some of them, like my old ones, suck incomprehensible amounts of ass, I think the creative potential that Galactic Adventures gave to the Spore community was incredible. I think Maxis saw that we didn't really enjoy playing the base game, and we had already received a couple part packs, so their decision to expand the game like this deserves a lot of praise. I so badly miss seeing game companies involved in their community like this. I mean, Maxis even flew some of the leading creators out to San Francisco and put them up in a hotel to have them playtest the game so we could see the first adventures come out from our favorite community members. If you want to read about it, it's still detailed in Parker Boy's blog, which I'll link in the description. It was amazing to see how much Maxis seemed to care about Spore and the community. And so for all of us that got deep into it with the release of Galactic Adventures, it hurt even more when EA did their thing and fucked up the sequels. But we held out for a good long while, even when drama started swirling about. You see, the in-game browser isn't the only way to find creations in Spore. In fact, it's the worst way. The best way to find new creations is on the Sporepedia, which functions a bit like Reddit. Creations that get uprated soar to the front page for all to see, and creations that are downrated sink to the briny depths, buried forever. So basically what happened was that the prominent creators would conscript some of their fans to go downrate people's creations on the Sporepedia. That way, theirs had a better shot of hitting the front page and being featured. It caused nothing short of a war that went on for a long time, which led to tons of accounts being reported and banned, including 2 of my own. Not for downrating, mind you, but for telling people who were downrating me to throw out my scrot without considering that they could be like 12. The whole downrating fiasco and lack of punishment for it drove some players away, and understandably so, but thankfully today things have gotten a lot better. Everyone's friendly and supportive, and some of the players that are active today have been making some raw fucking heat. The subreddit's also jumped by almost 3,000 members since I joined late last year, so it's great to see a somewhat renewed interest in the game after such a long time. And who knows, maybe we'll see some of the old gods make a resurgence. I would mess my trousers if I saw some new badassery from Genji or Photosynthesis, or if Parker Boy came back to finish up his Elder Light series. The best part about Galactic Adventures and Spore in general is that they've managed to keep the servers up for all these years. So now if you get the game and the expansion pack, there are 500,000 adventures to play through, with almost 200 million creations to mess around with. Spore was already one of my favorite games, and I'm so glad that it had this pack added onto it so that it can still feel new and fresh so many years later. So thank you for listening to my Spore tales. This has been a video that I've been wanting to make for a long time. I think Galactic Adventures was one of the best ideas for an expansion pack ever, and I wanted to call attention to it in any way that I could. If you enjoyed the video, I would always appreciate your subscription, and if you vibed with the commentary, I've been streaming for about a month, so I'd love to see you over on my Twitch channel as well. Thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you in the Spore Galaxy soon.